Welcome to the final week of the Prep Pigskin Report Unplugged. My name is Rudy. I'll be your host. However, I do not work alone. Please, a warm welcome for San Diego Strike Force head coach Bert Grossman. Bert, you realize this is an emotional time.
It is sad.
You're not going to see that emotional turn.
I don't know how I'm going to make up the money that I make here. It's going to be hard.
Well, you'll have to figure that out. Before we get to our featured guest, Akili Smith, there was a big moment here at KUSI. As you know, we have become the home for college commitments to be made. On Good Morning San Diego, just hours ago, Mandela Tobin of Westview High made his decision known to the world. Take a listen.
So, for the next 4 to 5 years, I'll be taking my athletic and my academic talents to, drum roll please.
Where was that?
Duke University.
It was a great moment. We have it all posted on all our social media platforms. You can see the entire interview. 3 academic institutions that we could not have gotten into, Bert.
Absolutely. And you know what? I love watching this kid play, and I was hoping he'd go to San Diego State. But when you saw them out there and he said academics, talents, you knew it was going to be Duke. And if you've been to the other 2 schools in the wintertime, you knew it wasn't going to be them.
Yeah.
So great, and congratulations for Mr. Tobin.
You know, he's one of those 5-tool kids in that, yeah, he's a great athlete, but you can also tell that there's a lot going on upstairs, and his entire family was with him, and you could tell that was important. His background, in a lot of ways, he encapsulates the American dream. He didn't start playing football until freshman year.
Yeah, he did, and that's a hard thing to do, to go from one coast to the other coast to play football. It's a big adjustment, but it shows his maturity.
All right, well, now for our first conversation of the night. It's time for some hot air in the cool zone. It's presented by Masouli Heating, Air, and Solar. Our guest tonight, former Lincoln Hornet, former NFLer, former top pick, Akili Smith. Akili, welcome to the PPR Unplugged airwaves.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
Akili, I love those sunglasses. Is that Kobe's 2 for $20?
Yeah. Well, you can find them at Kobe's, 7-Eleven, your local grocery store, anything like that. It fits everybody's price range.
Hey, you're
it. Don't say Gucci or Louis Vuitton on. I guarantee you.
Hey, you're a Lincoln legend, and a lot of Lincoln legends in this town. Tell us about how great it is to see the resurgence of Lincoln. I think it's great for football overall to have a great Lincoln.
Yeah, it feels good to watch David Dunn go through so much. I mean, the conversations that I've had with just, kids leaving the community, he's had some heart issues and some stress issues that he doesn't like to talk about. And now, kids starting to see the good in Lincoln High School. Jason Carter's doing a good job at Lincoln High School. So you're right. It feels good to see Lincoln back on top. Akili,
before we're going to talk more about Lincoln, I guarantee it, but let's talk about you. Because you left, had the great collegiate career, went into the NFL as a high pick. You're just ahead of your time. Had you come in 2020 and instead of being tried to be groomed as drop back quarterback, and you were allowed to do what you did great 20, how many ever years ago, things would have been different, would they not have?
They definitely would have been different. I always talk to the guys, McNabb and Aaron Brooks and Culpepper. We were all ahead of our time. We were all trying to be forced to be the next Joe Montana, the next Tom Brady, or whatever the case may be. But now, with all of the different arm angles and what Russell Wilson is able to do, this era of football would have been perfect for us.
Hey, Kelly, tell me about you're working on a Heisman documentary, I heard. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, we've been working on this movie for a long time, at least a decade. But the problem was we never had the funding. So a friend of mine by the name of Anil, his son actually goes to La Jolla Country Day. He was able to partner with the guys who made the Ron Artest documentary. So you guys can refer to that and look that up. And we finally have funding. So we talked to Ricky. We're going to go talk to Rashawn's mom today. We're going to talk to Marcus Allen. And then obviously we've got to get in touch with Reggie Bush. He's still a Heisman to me. Whatever anybody can say, I don't care. He won it. And we're finally going to get that documentary done.
You spent a lot of time training young quarterbacks. What's the first thing when you're molding the clay of a young quarterback? What's the first thing you look at?
Well, the first thing you want to look at, just his arm slot and his delivery. Is he a natural thrower? Do I have some things that I got to fix? And then from there, you always work from the ground up. Stance and start, staggered stance, square stance, right foot back, whatever is comfortable for the quarterback. What I'm seeing with the position is, I call it a forced philosophy. There's too many coaches forcing their philosophy on these quarterbacks as opposed to figuring out what works for that quarterback and then trying to master that.
Hey, Kelly, there seems to be this big pipeline going to Oregon now, all our top players. What do you think the reason is they're not staying at San Diego State or staying home and going somewhere like Oregon?
Well, you know what? When you got guys like me and Lou Barnes and Tyree Robinson, and there's some guys who's wearing the brand out here in San Diego, and we wear it proudly. I think that's a serious issue, but I will say this. When San Diego State gets that stadium done and we get an opportunity to see what it looks like, and then I would tweak the uniforms a little bit as well, I think we'll start to see some San Diego kids finally start to stay home.
Akili, I don't think it's any great secret that the high school football season is in serious jeopardy. And it affects, I'd say it affects the at-risk kids even more seriously than their counterparts. One, do you agree with that statement? And two, what do you say to kids who are about to lose a high school football season?
Yeah, you're right, because a lot of the at-risk kids, well, guess what? They don't have practice. They don't have study hall. They don't have weight room. So what are they doing? They're running the streets, getting themselves in trouble. So I totally agree with that. But for the guys who need to get a look, obviously you got, college showcases you can go to. You got 7-on-7. And then you got the club football that's going on. I don't know how that's going to work because we got to travel out of state to play football games. And there's not a lot of people that have the revenue to travel out of state. So I'm curious to see how that works out. But Paul and Bert, it's tough right now.
Akili, I'm sure you've watched the PPR over the years, and you haven't been shy about expressing your differences. A lot of them valid. But are we turning the corner a little bit as far as working together as a community?
Yeah, that conversation that we had, Paul, and then Chris has been doing a great job of just pulling us all together. That's been the one thing that we all said as a community as far as the trainers are concerned. We just wanted a voice with the voting process because we're the ones that's out there with the kids. And when you said you would give us an opportunity to do that, along with some of the other stuff that we got going on behind the scenes, San Diego is finally trying to work together. We got a couple people we're still working on, but for the most part, this is the closest that we've been in a long time.
Agreed.
Akili, tell us a little bit about your new position, Ontario Bandits. For the Arena League. So we're going to be expecting real Gucci glasses now with this new job? Or is it going to be the Finucci's?
No. When I get on salary, I'll get some real Gucci. So you guys got to bring me back. I can afford some $250 glasses. So, yeah, please bring me back. I'll make sure I have those on. But a friend of mine is named Pat Johnson. He bought the team out there in Ontario. He gave me the opportunity to be VP of personnel. So we're starting to hire guys. And Bert, to be honest with you, I've had some conversations about buying the San Diego team.
Whoa!
And things just didn't go well with the negotiation. Mm-hmm. So I would love to talk to you about that off the air. Okay. But we decided to go ahead and move forward with the Ontario deal. And hopefully we can have a season.
Well, I heard if you bought the team, you were going to fire me. And
you want to unload that big contract first, Akili. Hey, Akili Smith, we are out of time. Thank you for this conversation. I look forward to more of them down the road. Okay, Akili Smith?
Yeah, thanks, guys. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
All right. Throughout the fall, we have been able to keep our finger on the pulse of all things happening in San Diego in regards to our football scene. Let's hear from everyone in the roundtable segment we call
Bacon Bits.
It's sponsored by Holland RV Center Adventures. It starts right here. Leading the way is Brandon Stone.
Guys, do you remember this name? Ross Masouli, the 6'3" offensive guard, was set to become one of the best in San Diego prep history at Cathedral, but then he transferred up to LA. Look at him now. Grandpa, Grandma, I'm coming home. He's signing with San Diego State, turning down the likes of Alabama, Michigan, and USC. Maddie, what do you have?
Brandon, don't you just love to see former PPR stars make it all the way to the NFL? Castle Park alum and former San Diego State defensive back and now current Jacksonville Jaguar cornerback Luke Barku made his first NFL career start on Sunday, November 29th against the Cleveland Browns. Barku recorded 4 tackles and 2 solo tackles, and I'm sure we will see more of number 36 this Sunday against the Vikings. Nick, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Madison. Former Patrick Henry standout Cameron Klein and South Dakota grad played on Sunday afternoon for the first time this season. He was active. He plays for the Colts. He went against the Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry and the boys, but the Colts lost the ball game on Sunday afternoon. Bo, what do you have up next?
2017 Silver Pigskin winner Jack Tuttle is ready to take the Big Ten by storm. as the starting quarterback for number 12 Indiana. Jack completed all 5 of his passes last week after replacing injured quarterback Michael Penix Jr. and will get his first Big Ten start against number 16 Wisconsin this week. Good luck, Jack. Now to Nick Polino.
Thanks, Bo. 2016 Silver Pigskin finalist Ezekiel Noah was named to the watch list for the Mayo Clinic Comeback Player of the Year. In 2019, Noah suffered a torn ACL and a broken wrist on the same play against Air Force, but in the 2020 season, he has started each of the Broncos' 5 games where he ranks 5th on the team with 22 tackles. Allison, what do you have for us?
Well, Nick, La Jolla's Diego Solis has verbally committed to the University of Chicago to play football next year. A great get for Chicago since Diego had 12 touchdowns and 1,300 yards of offense his junior season, while also boasting a 4.7 GPA.
And Bert, do you have a bacon bit?
Imagine not being Anthony Lynn and being up by 9 points with 1:18 to go in Alabama State Championship. What you get is a block punt for a touchdown, followed by an onside kick, followed by a field goal, all within a minute.
So you were up 9 with 1:19, had the ball, and it was first down, and you somehow lose the game. That will haunt you for a lifetime. Bert.
Yes.
Get your lid ready.
All right.
It is
time?
Trivia time.
Go ahead.
Here's Nick Polino and tonight's El Cajon Ford trivia question.
Good read, Paul.
Thanks.
For our final El Cajon Ford Pigskin trivia question of the 2020 Unplugged season, we ask, how many Silver Pigskin finalists have attempted a pass in the NFL? Head to our Instagram page to vote for the chance to take home some PPR and El Cajon Ford gear.
Your family and your school has really put together a PR movement for you this year. What was it like for you showing up to school and seeing all these people there to support you and vote for you?
I'm just very thankful that I have friends and family and people like that to do that for me. So
I'll never forget that image of voting lines before there were ever voting lines. Landon Lozoya certainly attracted a crowd. Welcome back to the Prep Picks Report. It's Brandon Stone's job to go into our archives to find our best moments throughout the years of the PPR. He's digging for silver with our best finals matchups. It's brought to you by King Amapur.
I had no idea it was going to be me, you know. They didn't come to my side all day, you know. I knew it was going to come, and I just had to step up. I saw the quarterback throw the ball, and I just took it.
They're the ones that brought us here, and they're the one that ended it, you know. It's black shirt D, and they just came through again.
I read the quarterback outside of my eye, caught the ball, and once I caught it, I wasn't going to stop running.
75 yards.
Yeah, it was a tiring run, but it was well worth it.
Rod Wilson makes the interception to this kid Wilson, a great story. He's a cancer survivor who just spent the offseason undergoing 2 surgeries and 5 months worth of chemotherapy.
All that I've worked for my whole life with my dad, everything, and it just came down to that. I just got really lucky.
Final seconds, we need to stop. That's what champions are made of right there. If they drive on you, how do you respond? We responded, baby. That's all that happened. That's what was going through my mind. And we had to respond, the whole defense. You can't just interview me. If you interview me, you got to interview the whole defense because it was a team effort. It was a team effort.
I saw all my teammates behind me running, and such a good feeling. I mean, it's such a team win. I mean, we won it in one play, but it was the whole team.
All the clock was ticking down, and I had to get the ball off before time expired. Obviously, at least I knew Jacob Baker was going to come down with that ball, and I never had a doubt in my mind that he was going to come down to that.
That last play, man, I just, it's instincts. I seen the ball, hits the ball, you know what I'm saying? I just threw my hands out there. I just, turned upfield, and the touchdown was right there, you know what I'm saying?
I don't like looking at the field, so I was looking at the crowd, and seeing them go up had to have been the happiest moment of my life. That was awesome.
Welcome back to PPR Unplugged. This slot is normally reserved for our Coach of the Week. It's brought to you, of course, by King Amapur. But this week, we're going to kind of have a different kind of a coach, a former Orange Glen Patriot who became an NFL veteran, now a radio icon in Houston, Texas. He joins us. Everybody knows the name Sean Salisbury.
Dude, it looks like, are you coming from doing push-ups in general population with that outfit on?
I'm staying as far away from there as possible, man. I'd never survive it, guys. A little cold in Texas today.
I
so
bet.
How you guys doing, man? Good to be on with you, too.
We're doing great. We're talking about your days at Orange Glen, your number retired. Even with all the success you've had post-high school, do you ever think fondly back when you were a Patriot?
The irony of it, I was talking about this show this morning on my Morning Drive radio show. We were talking about like the experiences in professional or college sports, and I promise you, as I sit here today, my fondness, and Bert, maybe you went through the same thing, but you know, playing against Notre Dame at SC, awesome. Getting paid to play and playing in front of your home fans, like in San Diego, my last year, awesome as an NFL guy. But my fondest, favorite memories are Friday night football in high school at Orange Glen. They just are. Playing Patrick Henry, playing San Pasquale, rival, and then going out to pizza with my friends after. And I can go through the names, and I even remember plays more in high school than I did in college or pro. Now, I don't know if that's because I couldn't move and got hit more later, or it's just because I was so fond. My favorite days of football. So do I remember it fondly? I'll never forget it. Those were some of the best friends that I still have. And I didn't play any football till I got to high school, so that was my first part of it. Nothing better than high school football on a Friday night.
Wow.
Do you get to keep up with Orange Glen? They're doing pretty well under Coach Patterson. Do you get to follow him?
Yeah, I think he's done a heck of a job, Bert. I try to follow him as closely as I can, and if I can get out there with what's going on now with COVID, it's been difficult, but I do, and I'm proud of them, and it's one of those, I wish I was there and around it every week so I could go, because I was saying, even if you don't have a kid there, going to high school football games in Texas, it's a big deal. I miss Friday nights at Orange Glen High, and I'm really proud of the Patriots.
I think we have a graphic of your NFL experience. Sean, I'm a big Vikings fan, so I remember you wearing the purple and gold. Can you talk a little bit about all the stops? You got a big taste of the NFL, did you not?
Yeah, 10 years of it. I guess because I'm from San Diego, now that the team's not there, I was always, wanted to finish at least a season and play in San Diego. But the majority of my career, at least most of it, my longest stop was in Minnesota. So most people kind of put me as a Viking. And people ask, well, gosh, with that loaded roster, Hall of Famers John Randall and Chris Dolman, Player of the Year Keith Millard, Chris Carter, Anthony Carter. I mean, we were so loaded, and Herschel Walker, and they said, well, Steve Jordan, how didn't you guys win a Super Bowl? I said, it must have been the quarterback's fault. So we were loaded with talent. We were a little undersized, but when you're playing, the greatest thing about that is we knew that each year we had a playoff chance, and we got in quite a bit. But the guys I was able to play with, and Jack Del Rio, who was a college teammate, it's probably the fellas I was around and watching the great players I was around more than anything. And I miss the laughs and the training camp as much as I do the paycheck and the Sundays. But Minnesota was a great stop and a great football team. We got close, but never got close enough to win one. But that was probably, and who I'm probably affiliated with the most.
I remember playing you guys in the Dome. You weren't undersized. I don't remember you guys being undersized in Minnesota, but maybe we have different memories.
Yeah, but Bert, you were on the other side where you had to deal with Zimmerman and Randall McDaniel and Tim Irwin and Kirk Loudermilk. That's exactly right. That side of it was, and there's a bunch of guys wearing mustard-colored jackets on that side. We were just a little undersized on in certain parts, like Johnny Randall, although great player and Hall of Famer, undersized. So if you ran the football all the time like the Redskins did us in a playoff game with Biner and that group, it was a little tough, but we were pretty good. And I remember it well when we played against you.
Sean, we got 30 seconds left. Could you talk? We had Akili Smith on in front of you talking about how the quarterback position has evolved. Would you like to expand on that in the seconds we have left?
Yeah, the people asked me, I was asked this morning on my show, will the pocket quarterback ever go away? No, you got to win from the hula hoop in the pocket. If you can't throw it from there, Super Bowl quarterbacks win from that spot, but now it's the 6'4", 6'5" guy who can buy time and extend, and it's not just 3 or 4 of them, it's most of them. So it's ever changing, but you got to have a good play caller, but you better be accurate, you better be mentally and emotionally tough. So it's evolving. Outside linebackers are playing quarterback now with the size of their bodies, and they can run like running backs. It's awesome to watch.
Well, we have to let you get back to your rap video. Sean Salisbury, thank you for making time for us. Thank you to Jay Heiler for setting it up for us, and
appreciate it.
I hope we get to talk again.
I look forward to it. Paul, Bert, thank you very much.
Hey,
I'm going to go freestyle. I'll talk to you guys later.
Before you go, Sean, how does our high school show compare to high school shows in Texas?
best. Are you kidding me? They're pulling up. They're way behind. They can't catch us. San Diego's got it up on them, man. We're never giving that up. You guys doing a great job.
That's what I want to hear, Sean. Thank you for your time. Sean
appreciate
Salisbury,
you guys.
happy
Thank
holidays to you. As the PPR Unplugged has proven, this program is more than just a football show. It encapsulates the entire experience, Bert.
In the San Diego community, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's me. Here's Madison Sinclair. And this week's Squad Up, the Lincoln Drill Team, brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market.
Most high schools have a football team, a cheer team, and a band that helps make that Friday night's under the lights experience. But over at Lincoln, there's an extra team that brings a sting most other schools can't match.
A drill team, we're a dance team, but the type of style of dance we do is majorette style. A lot of schools do not have drill teams, but for us, we bring the culture.
This isn't just a team for school, it's something that helps everyday life.
I had no rhythm, you could say. I was very offbeat with a lot of things, but with the help of everybody, I really was able to come out as a performer. With the drill team, you really do become more social throughout school. You know, you have a sense of confidence that, you know, I'm part of a very powerful sport, I would say.
When I first started, I had little to no rhythm, but I always wanted to dance, but I just couldn't do it. I have a lot more confidence now than I did when I joined. Like, now I'm not afraid to kind of just be who I am.
These Hornets are more than ready to get the hive buzzing again.
Our school is a football school, and if football doesn't come back, I'm gonna feel like I lost a chunk of something.
Besides loving dance, I love football. So, other than the Sunday football we do have, I would love to go to one of the football games and cheer our team on. Go Hornets! Hornets for life!
I'm Madison Sinclair for the Prep Pigskin Report.
Cheerleaders from El Capitan High School. If you enjoy long runs, if you like bone-jarring tackles, if you want to see long touchdown passes, be sure and watch the Prep Pigskin Report. Yeah!
Baby, you can drive my car.
Graphics are great.
I know, high end.
Yeah.
Time to welcome back the audience to PPR Unplugged. It's our final show of the season, so it's our final chat with Commissioner Joe Hines in a segment we call Hey Joe, how's it going? It's brought to you by Bill Howell. Commissioner, I got this bad feeling, Commissioner, that we're watching the high school football season disappear. It's not going to happen. Can you provide any ray of hope?
Well, I definitely am not going down that road that it's not going to happen, Paul. Obviously, big setback, took the wind out of a lot of our sails. We're still hoping and being positive that when we come back after the Christmas break here, we get some good news. Even like I said before, even if it's going into February, even to the beginning of March, I think it would still create some semblance of a football season. Our other sports as well. It's for us. It's not all football. I know it is to a lot of people, but even for our other sports, it's important to all those kids. So we're doing everything we can. Our state executive director is doing everything he can. We just hope we get some good news here after the break.
Hey Joe, just to make it clear, because I see a lot on social media, people posting. You have no say. I mean, the CIF has no say in these decisions, right? It comes from the governor's office, and you have to do their mandates, correct?
Yeah, thank you, Bert. There definitely a lot of people are under the impression that CIF's making the decision to not play sports, and then that couldn't be further from the truth. We are at the kind of the mercy here of the California Department of Health and the governor's office. When they say sports can start, sports can start. The only thing that's allowable now is their last guidance from August 3rd, which is training and conditioning with 14 kids and 2 athletes. And I know a lot of people think that, again, CIF's calling all the shots, but we're just waiting back for the plan to get the green light from the state of California Department of Health. When that happens, we can put our plan in place. But until then, we're just in a holding pattern.
All right, so Commissioner, this is my last question of the 2020 PPR, and I'm going to allow you to speak directly to the athletes. I know we focus on football players, but as you mentioned, all athletes who are hoping to have some semblance. Your holiday message to them is?
Well, I just want them all to keep the faith. I know they're all frustrated, all our families, schools, community, especially our kids. Keep the faith, everybody. Just know people are working hard behind the scenes to do everything they can, to get the state to allow sports to begin again. And when they do, we're not going to skip a beat. We're going to create an experience that, obviously everyone's been waiting for to get back to it. So be safe out there, keep training, working hard, and just hope great things are going to happen when we come back from break.
Happy holidays to you, Commissioner.
Hey, Paul, thanks for having me on this segment, and I really enjoyed being part of this, and even having to work with Bert was good as well. So
I know.
Thank you very much for that.
Well, you have to take the good with the bad, sir.
Yeah, they're not renewing your contract, by the way.
Very well said. Very well said.
All right, now put your lid on. To take care, Commissioner, it's time now to raise a glass of Hollandia milk to this week's featured student athlete. Here's Allison Edmonds shining a spotlight on Hoover's Garavuz.
For Garavuz, football came late in life, but the love is real.
I didn't start playing football until my sophomore year, and because a friend recommended me, because I used to play soccer, but I stopped. And then when I joined, I just finding love for it, and I just started working out harder and harder so be better at it.
But football isn't his only sport. He also represents the Cardinals on the mat.
One of my football coaches, my sophomore year, he recommended it to me, so he was like, you should come check it out. So I joined it my sophomore year, and ever since then I just been really fell in love with it. All season I'm doing both football and wrestling right now, so which has been working out good. So my goal is to make it to state next year for wrestling and hoping that I place.
And his performance in athletics goes hand in hand with why he does well in school.
Wanting to do well in school is just motivation, probably mostly for my family. Who just I'm from the Congo, so it's life there wasn't as good, so I use that as motivation to keep me moving to school. And just my mom, she really does motivate me. Don't let anybody stop you from pursuing your dream. Sometimes in life there'll be people that be you should just quit, you're not doing good at it, but just don't listen and just keep focusing. Focus, work harder, because you will become better.
This is Allison Edmonds with the Hollandia Dairy Student Athlete of the Week.
All right, thank you, Allison. Time for another timeout, but first, let's check out the PPR Home Life segment. This is Jaden Lucian. It's brought to you by Renovation Realty. We renovate, we sell.
You profit, Paul.
Oh yeah, I know. In honor of the Prep Pigskin Report, we would have a pig at the Grossman Pep Rally.
The things I do for Paul Rudy.
He didn't do that for me. He enjoyed it.
And that's how COVID gets spread.
Yeah.
Kissing pigs at pep rallies.
We are fortunate to have great athletes playing at the next level. That's why we created a Faces in New Places segment. Tonight, Bo Furtick is chatting with a Boise State sophomore by the name of J.L. Skinner.
Getting that first pick in your second year, what was that moment like? What was going through your head before the snap? Did you feel it coming?
I felt it coming the whole day, leading up to the game. That Saturday when I woke up, you can ask me, but I was really saying I was going to get one today. I could just feel it. I felt like it was coming. But I was really just I really got my first interception. It was kind of hard to believe because I never, did anything like that before. So I was just man, this is crazy. I never had this type of feeling before. So it felt really good.
How have you enjoyed your overall experience at Boise?
I've enjoyed it a lot. It really makes you mature a lot coming from high school to college football. It makes you become a totally different man, which I've become a different man now. I'm smarter, more mature.
What kind of impact are you trying to leave at Boise State? What would be successful for you?
I want to lead to be one of the best safeties ever played at the school. I want to have my name somewhere in this building. A picture of me somewhere in this building saying that he was one of the best to come through. And that's really what I'm striving for. And I also want to win championships. That's another goal of mine. I'm trying to leave with at least 3 more rings on my finger before it's time for me to be done.
What do you think you have to do to get to that point?
I really just have to improve every year. I can't be comfortable where I'm at all because I really haven't done anything yet. Yeah, interception's cool, but I want 5 of them. 20 tackles cool, but I want 60 of them. I just had to keep being consistent, staying focused and just really, stay on the path that I'm on, the path that the coaches are guiding me down, and just trust them with that.
Bo Fertig with the Prep Pigskin Report.
Well, on Wednesday, I had the chance to sit down with our Blue Chip Athlete of the Week. And man, when I say Blue Chip, I mean it. Jalil Tucker of Lincoln High is a 4-star athlete who's papering his wall with D1 offers, 21 and counting. Take a listen to our conversation.
There was a week where I was at Lincoln, like my first week, where I transferred to Lincoln, and then I got, I think it's my Oregon offer. And then once I got that one, then it was just like they were racing like right after. They were coming constant. And I remember one day I got like 4 offers in a day. Then the next day I ended up getting like 3. And I was like, wow.
How does that work when someone offers you? Do they offer you sight unseen? Do they call you, talk to you, make sure you're a real person? Is there a personal connection?
Well, it works both ways because, Lincoln has a lot of connections. So sometimes I might get a coach that calls me. Sometimes they might come up to the school. They might come and see me. They want to see what I look like. They want to see me come work out. So, yeah, it's a lot.
Well, you bring up Lincoln because I see video of you in a St. Augustine uniform. Talk about that decision.
Yeah, that was my decision. Basically, I just wanted to come back home. I wanted to be with my brothers. I wanted to be with everybody I grew up with. I was feeling a little homesick. I needed to come back home. Just where my family's from. It's where everybody graduated from. My father, my uncles, my aunts, everybody. My grandmother, even my grandmother.
I'm sure the Hive is happy to have you back. I see you on both sides of the ball. Where do you see yourself in the mirror? Are you a defensive back?
At heart, I think I do want to go DB just because I like the physicality and I want to come at you. I want to be able to lock down those fast guys, those people that, think they can run past everybody. I want to show people, that DB's got some speed too.
You brought up Bobby Huffman. She is your great grandma. What makes her special?
My grandma, she's a fighter, for sure. That's what I can say for my grandma. She's always fighting. She's always willing to give a hand, even when she's down on her worst, I just love my grandma to death. She knows. I'm always one call away, no matter the situation. My grandma, she owned the restaurant, Huffman's Barbecue, right by Lincoln. That's my family.
How long ago?
They got that years ago, way before I was born.
And a contemporary teenager, is it cool to say that family is a big part of your life?
Yeah, I got a big family on both sides of the family. Got 2 wonderful parents, my mom and my dad. I know I can always trust on them. They're always going to be there for me. They're pushing me. They're sacrificing things to help me, along with the rest of my family, my grandmother, my aunts, my uncles, my stepmom, even my little brother, even when he showed up to my little practices, pushing me and wanting to see me do good.
I don't get to see you on the football field right now this year, but I'm seeing a ton of your 7-on-7 video. You're lighting it up.
Oh, yeah, 619 Dream Chasers.
Yeah, talk a little bit about Coach Carter's got to be very impressed to have you a part of his entourage.
Yeah, Coach Carter, he's a big part of my recruiting too. Coach Carter, I can say that man, he does a lot for his kids. 619 Dream Chasers. We're getting better. We got a good defense. It's a lot of communication, a lot of offense. Tyler Jensen, Sam Cooper leading our offense. We got a special offense this year. Herman, Jay Sean, big names out there.
Well, you went to Vegas and came back with some pretty significant hardware, did you not?
I did. The MVP, the trophy. Well, I was just happy, to be a part of that team, to be that guy that people were depending on. I needed to bring something back home. I wasn't coming home empty-handed.
Fair enough. So my last question, you brought up Coach Carter. He says you remind him of another very prominent Hornet, the first Hornet to ever make our silver pigskin podium. Does the name Keyshawn mean anything to you?
Yeah, Keyshawn, that's my guy. We're both big competitors, being out of lives. I mean, he's the reason, honestly, the reason why I wanted to play receiver. I seen how fun it looked to him for me playing receiver at Lincoln. So I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to come play both sides of the ball. And Keyshawn, he's going to compete. That's one thing me and him have in common. If anybody thinks that they're that guy, we're going to go at you the whole game. We're going to show you that we're better.
All right, last question. We do this with every kid that's in this segment. What does that mean to you?
Man, I need to bring that home this year. I need to. I'm coming for it.
Jalil Tucker. Now, he's a underclassman, so before it's all said and done, he's going to have 40, 50 D1 offers, which is a big deal. Yeah. Unless, of course, you're Bert Grossman.
No, I didn't.
How many offers?
80 or 90, but you have to remember that was back when they had to come watch film and it would burn up. And if I had this now, I probably wouldn't have any because they'd be able to actually see all my flaws. But they couldn't see them back
You got a
then.
ton of offers, man. Do you still have them somewhere in a drawer?
I have some letters somewhere. Thanks for bringing it up. How about you?
No, I was not offered anything.
Kickball? No.
I was offered to leave is what I was. Hey, coming up next on PPR Unplugged, it's time to reveal this week's Silver Pigskin Gala Award predictions in our National City Mile of Stars segment we call the Mile of Stars. National Mile City, whatever we call it, it's coming up next.
All right, listen up, take a knee. Winning is not a sometime thing. Winning is something we do all the time. We do things right all of the time. We do not do it part of the time. Let me hear it. Yeah!
Hey, are you our new coach?
No, but I do watch the Prep Pigskin Report every Friday night.
Phenomena. Phenomena.
For the first time since 2001, a junior has won this award. Everybody, Tyler Butler from the Bishop Street.
This is huge. I'm just so blessed to be in this position. I'm so lucky to be here and couldn't do it without everyone along the way.
Well, you know, if there's no high school football season, we're going to lose our chance at a back-to-back winner.
That's
He
true,
would have been
yes.
on favorite. Now it's
Well, he already opted out this year, too.
Well, I know. I hold out hopes that he might play. The question all kids want to know is, what does it take to make it to the next level? Here's Nick James asking 2014 Silver Pigskin finalist Quentin Meeks that very question.
2014 Silver Pigskin finalist Quentin Meeks played at Del Norte High School. He had 11 Division I offers, but Meeks made his way to Palo Alto to play in the Pac-12 for the Stanford Cardinal, and he's been in the NFL for 3 years with the Jags and the Bulls.
Everything, my mama always giving me support and everything, and love, nurturing and everything, still to this day. You know, my dad, you know, being that support for me as well. You know, it means a lot to know that you have such great family behind you, and you know, it's just been, having that support has been great going through it.
If the Meeks name rings a bell, his dad Ron was a defensive backs coach in the NFL, and Quentin always dreamed of being in the NFL as a player, just like his pops.
Del Norte's Quentin Meeks and Patrick Zeller pulling off the hook and ladder for a game-winning 45-yard touchdown.
Football's, like, ever since I came out the womb, it's been a big passion of mine. I used to sleep with a football growing up when I was a little kid.
Nick James for the Prep Pigskin Report.
All right, each week we add names to our Silver Pigskin Gala Awards watch list segment. We call the segment the National City Mile of Stars, the National City Mile of Stars. It continues to grow longer, and it'll probably hibernate while we wait for the high school football season to get started. So let's get the last names on the list. Bert, who do you want to lead off with? And what category?
Iron Hog.
Okay.
El Cap, Timothy Hudson.
Why?
Well, I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
6'3", 270, strongest guy on the team. 3-year starter. They were hoping this year he could have played a little defense because he just tears people's heads off. But team captain, great in the community. I mean, this is the one thing we see. He coaches Pop Warner. He helps coach the freshmen. Does all volunteer work around Lakeside. Just a great kid, great leader. Brandon, who do you got?
At a time where so many kids are stressing about college opportunities, Sarah's Brevin Lingau has to be feeling a little more relaxed. He's got 9 in the tank already. Now all he needs is to get his hands on the football. He's my final nominee for Offensive Player of the Year, 1,200 all-purpose yards in 2019. Maddie, who's on your list?
This week, I'm adding Torrey Pines linebacker Marco Notarini to the Defensive Player of the Year watch list. Mr. Notarini dominates as a linebacker with 148 total tackles, 93 solo tackles, 6 sacks, and 2 interceptions. Look out for number 28 once the Falcons take the field. Nick, who's on your list?
Thank you, Madison. And this week I'm adding to the two-way watch list. I'm going with Tri-City Christian High School, 6'5", class of 22, 240 pounds, Luis Alejandro Martinez. Young man is a baller, plays tight end and defensive end. I'm looking forward to watching him wreck shop on both sides of the ball this upcoming season. Bo, what do you have up next?
I'm adding Vista linebacker Zack Shipper to the Defensive Player of the Year watch list. As a sophomore, Shipper was the Panthers' defensive MVP, and in 5 games as a junior, Shipper averaged 8 tackles and a sack per game. He also played in the USA National game last year at AT&T Stadium. Now to Allison Edmonds.
Thanks, Bo. This week, I'm adding El Camino's Kelton Howard to my Defensive Player of the Year watch list. Coming into this season, he has 42 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 7 passes defended. Nick, who do you have?
Thanks, Allison. I'm going to the Offensive Player of the Year watch list to add Mission Hills wide receiver Sky Donnell. The Grizzly holds his 3.67 GPA and was named a first-team All-League receiver in 2019.
Thank you, Nick. We're going to take another time out. Carol's Corner is up next. But first, let's check out the PPR home life of Pete Patrick. Brought to you by Renovation Realty. We renovate, we sell, you profit. Yes.
This is one thing I've been doing over quarantine. We were able to get a gym set up right before we got locked out.
I want to call foul on Petey Patrick right there.
That's not, yeah. I've seen Bigfoot video that's more authentic than that. He is not doing 450 on a decline over and over.
All right, time to welcome in legendary Oceanside football coach, the most iconic pirate of all. John Carroll joins us in a segment we call Carroll's Corner. Coach, you know the thing I steal most from you is the visualization that the high school football program is the front porch of a respective school. And that's why it's important, because it invites people in. And I think it's particularly important for you to expand on that in lieu of what's going on right now in the pandemic.
Well, it's the showcase for a school. You know, a school is a mini city. It's a community within itself. And your most prominent event, like your front porch, you know, what people see when they come by, is the Friday Night Lights. You've got the lights going. You've got the football game, of course, is the reason you're playing the game. But then think of all the other people there. You're looking at the band. You're looking at the drill team. You're looking at the cheerleaders, the dance teams, ROTC, perhaps the student that sings the national anthem. It's an entire event that brings all of these different people together, past alumni, present students, and future students. And it is the highlight and should be the highlight of the school year.
Coach, what do you see? I'm hearing a lot of talk about a club football movement with COVID and everything else going on. Do you see that ever gaining traction and picking up?
Prayerfully, no. I'm sure that there's an awful lot of administrators that would love to go home early on Fridays and not have to supervise events. But like I just talked about, the fact that it brings a showcase, it brings more than just football game to the campus and all the things that it does for a campus, it would be a huge mistake. The club activities are really about money. It's about pay to play. And you're going to be right there. You're going to be restrictive, not of talent, because they'll just let talent play. But there'll be kids that can't afford it will not be able to play. So right away you're restrictive. And there's just so many negatives to it. Imagine the thought of a parent paying a coach to play, and it needs to stay within the educational realm. For all the life lessons and character development that a school can kind of force a coach to be involved in and teach his kids. So keep clubs out of high school football. Keep them out.
How about this for a controversial topic? We saw the Unified District talk about how they're going to go to a more standard-based grading system. You are an educator by heart. How do you feel about that?
So my first thing I would say that it is a noble and empathetic desire to raise graduation rates for all students, specifically for minorities. So I'll give them a pat on the back for that. The problem is the unintended consequences. So imagine that standard-based grading is learn the material, but take away accountability. Take away the accountability of timelines, turning in your work on time, showing up to class, being on time, pop quizzes, studying for a test so that you can get it right the first time. In a standard-based system, attendance doesn't matter, on time doesn't matter, turning in late work or work on time doesn't matter, and retaking tests over and over and over again. It definitely will have the effect of raising graduation rates, I believe, but it will have the unintended consequences of post-high school graduation, having kids that are not prepared to step out into a world where there is accountability for timeliness, and it's the only way you're going to get paid in the real world.
Coach Carroll, what an honor was to have you back in this segment again, giving of your time. We appreciate it greatly, and I wish you and the entire family a happy holiday season, and I look forward to the next time we're having a meal together.
Hey, Merry Christmas, and let's get schools open and kids back on the field.
All right, we can all keep our fingers crossed, Coach. John Carroll, everybody, former 13-time section champion at Oceanside, 3-time state champion.
Yes.
I mean,
great John Carroll.
He is on the Mount Rushmore of San Diego.
The Mount Rushmore.
He is. Yes, there's him and then everybody below. All right, we'll be right back with the answer to tonight's El Cajon Ford Pigskin